fucking.
All right, boys, get those eyebrows up.
Get eyebrows up. Ready?
Right. Yeah.
Dude, Randy doesn't pass. I cannot do that.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another big fucking episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 353, recorded on Sunday, January 9th, 2020 deuce. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the first Patreon pick of the year. The movie is Doom from 2005, and it was chosen by none other than Alex K. Before we get into the review, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy, Randy Gandy G. Landy. What's up, man?
I'm taking a shit, you fucking gimp.
Whoa. Richard, break, please.
Whoa.
Don't speak for me. And hey, let's not use these terms, friend. Okay.
We got a guest on the show,
Hey, Bob.
Richard Brake, and he's taking a shit.
I gotta take a dump.
Wouldn't it be weird if one of us actually podcasted from the toilet? Let's be real. No.
Not for us, probably.
Yeah, it might even be
I think that-
expected.
Yeah, I feel like that's the next thoroughfare for us. You know, that's the inroad to popularity that we need. Taking a shit, talking about shit.
Next up, calling in from my immediate left, we got our boy Soju. What's up, man?
What up, it's your boy Jabroni Stains.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
What is a jabroni? Is there a definition?
Ask the Iron Sheik, because he
I
came
remember
up with
Oh, okay.
when Rob lost his shit one time when he heard the word jabroni.
It's a funny word.
that. Very great word. If you want to
When
see
he
the word
was, like,
jabroni on a regular
15.
basis, follow the Iron Sheik on Twitter, because his whole thing is just telling people to go fuck themselves and calling them jabronis on
Are you
Twitter.
looking it up, Bob?
Anybody and
Yeah.
everybody.
So
It's great.
Jabroni is a stupid, foolish, or contemptible person, a loser. She always has a comeback to own the trolls and jabronis on Twitter. Shut your mouth, you dumb jabroni. Thanks for the examples there, dictionary.com. Really appreciate that. So it's just a fool, a dumbass. Got it. All right. Well, before we get into the review and find out whether or not Alex K is a fucking jabroni, let's tackle some housekeeping real quick. Here's another reminder. We got our February poll pick currently posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this February. The theme for February is My Blood-Sucking Valentine, and the three movies to vote between are A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, Nosferatu the Vampire, and Shadow of the Vampire.
Hey, Bob,
Yes.
how those numbers looking?
Pretty much the same. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night is dominating for sure. Shadow of the Vampire started creeping up a little bit after last week's show, but not a whole heck of a lot.
That's 2 months in a row.
Yeah.
Where we've had a dominant movie. That doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
No, that's true. It's usually more competitive, or at least it has been this past year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Christmas was super competitive.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was.
It's like back and forth the whole time.
Some lobbying going on and shit.
Yeah, Bob, this is your takeover month. Why did you pick these movies?
I'm taking over. I like strange vampire movies, and these I think definitely fit that bill. And these three movies I feel like they're lesser watched or maybe just lesser discussed. Maybe people watch them but don't talk about them much.
Yeah.
I love all three of these movies. I think no matter which one wins, if you are into vampire films, you should watch all three of these. And I don't know. They're all pretty great. I would recommend them all pretty highly. So.
There was one weird thing I noticed about your list. As much as you love vampire movies, your favorite Underworld was not included on this
Your
list.
favorite.
I thought for sure it was going to be on there.
Well, that was my favorite until I saw Twilight Part 69.
Another one?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best.
So
one.
I thought you liked Twilight.
Did you get that
Part
one
Two's
off
the best.
Napster? Get that one.
Yeah, I didn't know
Something
they
tells
they
me that was
released-
not the official release.
I didn't know they released so many, but damn, 69 is hot. Part 69 is what's up. Get your votes in before the end of January. We'll see what movie we're talking about this February. Patreon news. What else we got going on? We do have a brand new minicast drop last Friday. It's available to Patreon members exclusively. Juice, you were talking about a little movie called Antlers.
I was talking about a movie called Antlers.
I
We
wasn't-
were talking
I
about a
wasn't
movie
there.
called Antlers. Me and Blurb talked about Antlers, which is a film that came out last year, 2021, produced by old Del Toro. Yeah, it was good. It was a good little back and forth because we didn't have the exact same opinions on this movie. We were a little split, so it was a good discussion. I feel like I know. Me and Bob split. When does that ever happen?
That never happens.
Never.
You guys
We
are
always on the same page.
Fact.
Especially when we're talking about The Lodge, right, Bob? Great film.
It's amazing.
My
One
God.
of the best movies ever.
I would die happy if The Lodge never came up in conversation ever again.
That has, it peaks its head up every couple months.
Oh my God.
Every couple
It's gonna
days
have
almost.
to, it's gonna be like another year before it's funny again. I am not looking forward to the Valley of Annoyance because I know you're not gonna stop saying that shit.
Yeah.
True.
Bob, we also have a brand new, starting off the new year with a
Mhm.
brand new YouTube segment.
We do.
Named after your very own tiki bar, the Haunted
Oh,
Hideaway.
shit.
And it is yourself telling us how to make tiki drinks. This one inspired by the new movie that's coming out this week, Scream.
Yeah. Five
Around here, that
cream.
means big money.
Yes. Yeah. Five
Five cream.
Five cream.
Coming out.
Oh my lord.
Ooh, again, a Napster acquisition, I'm sure.
Five creams, the movie.
Yeah. Tell
I'm
us
gonna
about
watch
that,
Five
Bob.
Cream tonight.
Well, I am definitely into tiki and obviously horror, and there is a shocking overlap between those two things. And I thought it would be kind of a fun idea to, I don't know, make some new YouTube content about me whipping up cocktails that are tiki and also horror.
Yeah.
So I'll we'll be wheezing the juice. I'll be making some original drinks and sharing the recipes with you guys, and I'll also be working through some classics that are also sort of leaning towards the horror realm of things.
Bob, I'm pretty excited about this first one kicking off because it's one after my own heart. You know, what's this first drink you're making for us called?
I'm calling it Screaming and Creaming.
Whoa!
Shit.
An original cocktail named Screaming and Creaming.
Screaming
What do you
and
know?
Creaming.
All right.
This cocktail screaming and creaming.
So yeah, keep an eye out on the old YouTubes. That's youtube.com/straight chilling podcast. And that will be dropping this week before Five Cream comes out.
A delight to the senses, isn't it, my friend?
It was. I got to enjoy the
Yeah.
beverage for our watch of Doom, which really helped me appreciate it even more. So,
I'm still downloading my cocktail.
thank you for that.
It's in the email, Randy. Check it out.
Ah, fuck. Virus scan, you know? Jesus.
I think that's all we got going on. You guys have any other housekeeping?
I think my house is clean.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah. Clean as a whistle.
This house is clean.
All right, let's jump into the main event. We're talking about Doom, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
I
Bob,
see
you
you
have-
possess a Blu-ray.
Yeah, Bob, you possess this box because it's in my hand right now. I can't believe it.
I have it. I bought it just for this show.
Just for
You know
this
what's-
show.
You know what's fascinating to me is on the cover of that, it has the two headlining stars of Carl Urban and The Rock, but their last names are highlighted, so it looks like it says Urban Rock.
Really
Which I feel is very much a dad genre of music to come.
Urban rock.
Urban rock.
It's like that Run DMC Aerosmith mashup, right?
That's
Something like that.
that's where I hear country is headed these days. Country
Keith
stars
Urban
making
rock?
hip hop tracks.
Tractor rap.
Oh my lord.
It's the best.
Let's move on from that sad fact.
Yeah. Talking about Doom from 2005. This has a runtime of 1 hour and 45 minutes. It was directed by Andrzej Bartkowiak. That's a hell of a name. I probably butchered it.
Where is this
Stars-
guy from? I gotta check this out.
I forget. It stars Carl Urban,
Scandinavia, maybe?
Rosamund Pike, The Rock, aka Dwayne Johnson, whatever his name really
French
is.
for Le Rock.
Richard Brake is in this movie. Some other folks.
He's Polish.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, sure.
We got a
What-
back of the
what a
box here.
Good for whoa. Really? Holy wow. Holy shit.
European style.
Yes.
All right. The plot synopsis and back of the box is as follows. A frantic call for help from a remote research station on Mars sends a team of mercenary Marines into action. Led by The Rock and Carl Urban, they descend into the Olduvai Research Station, where they find a legion of nightmarish creatures lurking in the darkness, killing at will. Once there, the Marines must use an arsenal of firepower to carry out their mission. Nothing gets out alive. Based on the hugely popular video game, Doom is an explosive, action-packed thrill ride. Thank you, Blu-ray.
All right. That was some pretty good by the numbers back of the box copy. Well done, copywriter.
The only movie I've heard of that this guy has done as a director is Romeo Must Die, which I've never seen.
You've never seen Exit Wounds?
No.
With
Is that Seagal?
yeah, Steven
Or is
Seagal
that-
and and
Is that where he's in the prison?
DMX? I don't think
Oh my
so.
god, DM.
Maybe.
Oh,
We
no.
should cover Exit Wounds on the
I don't think I have unless he's in that prison.
should we?
system.
No, probably
Should
not.
we?
I don't really think it counts. Dude, I saw like when it came out, I really can't remember much. I thought it was neat when I was like 12, but who knows?
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if I feel good about promoting anything Seagal's involved in, really.
Oh
He did Romeo Must Die, Exit Wounds, Cradle 2, The Grave, Doom, Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li, Maximum
Ooh.
Impact, and Dead Reckoning.
Maximum
Wow,
Lounge.
man, it's amazing what No Shame can do for a career.
Pay the bills, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. I mean, hey, no shade. You know, get your paycheck, my friend.
Well, there's a little shade.
Okay. You caught me.
There's a little bit of shit. All right. Gentlemen, silly question. Had you seen this before? And would you recommend people check it out? Juice, kick us off.
Actually, I have quite the history with this film. I had seen it before. I saw it when we all three, I believe, worked at the Regal movie theater as teenagers.
Worked loosely.
Yeah, loosely. And the reason I watched this because I
Are you
was on
telling
the
me you were a
clock.
teenager in 2005? That doesn't add
Well,
up.
y'all were
What-
teenagers.
What's with your youthful
That's
glow?
the
though?
collective we of you two.
Yes. But
Anyways.
we includes us, but not you. I see. Okay.
For some reason, this movie has stuck out. Me and Bob will joke about. I think we watched it together on the clock, if I remember correctly, and
That's
we
the
would just
best
joke
way.
about it
Getting
throughout
paid.
the years. I never saw it again,
Yeah.
and it's just and. It's funny because we were watching it again this time and we were like, oh my God, all the quotable lines that we would quote are all from Richard Brake
All of
because
them.
he's just the shittiest character with the most ridiculous lines though. So that was kind of funny to revisit it. I would absolutely not recommend people check this out. I don't even think that people who enjoy Doom video games should check this out because as far as I can see, this really has like barely anything to do with the Doom video game at all, which within its own right. has
What's your
very
experience
little
with
lore
Doom?
anyways? So I played the original, I played one of the old school Dooms on like Mac. I think the one that was eventually ported over for like SNES, which, oh God, I know that was a huge fail or whatever, but I'm pretty sure it was that one that was ported over for SNES. I played that one on like an old school Mac. And then a couple years ago when I had Game Pass on Xbox, they had that new one that came out there like everybody loved. And I played probably about a quarter of it because it's pretty like it's fun in that like it's just mindless shooting, but there really is very little story or lore to go with it.
Gotcha.
It's pretty bare bones. Like, hey, you want a first person shooter where you blow the fuck out of like demons in hell? That's what it is. And so not an extensive experience, but some. But yeah, I don't even think it would kind of fill that need for people looking for a Doom movie. I don't know. It's pretty generic.
I see.
I think they just kind of slapped the Doom name on here, honestly. But yeah, I would not recommend. Bob, how do you feel about this Doom 2000? What is that? 5?
5, yeah.
Lord.
Well, yeah, I saw it once in the theater with you and never since, but I do. Yeah, there's a couple choice lines from Richard Brake we throw around in casual conversation that we would always chuckle about, but I could never remember anything else from this movie other than a handful of lines. And after watching it again, like, God damn, like, no wonder. This movie is a flaming bag of dog shit. It's pretty rough. I would not recommend anybody watch this movie. Randy, how about you? How do you feel?
Yeah, so unlike you two, I have no prior experience viewing this, but I have osmosified some of the jokes from you guys. Like, you have talked shit about this movie pretty much since the day you saw it, and I have heard every bit of your complaints. And I'm here to say I am not entirely sure that there is no audience for this. I mean, I'm not going to sit here. I'm going to be like a de facto defender, I think, for this movie on some level, a very slight level, in that I don't know that it doesn't serve the fans of the Doom series well. I mean, maybe they disagree. And here's the thing. My exposure to Doom, it is limited to Doom 1993. That's it. I played through the entire thing. I beat it. I'm not very good at it, so I didn't go to the higher difficulties, but I played the game and, I had a good time doing it. There are parts of this movie that are very evocative of the game in my mind, but I have not played anything that's any of the new stuff. I haven't played what you described, Justin, any of those new like big bangers.
Well, this movie came out before those games.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what I was going to point out too. So, at the time this came out, from my understanding, there was Doom 1, 2, and 3, or Doom 64, maybe, or maybe that's 3. I don't know. But like once it hits like 3, it starts getting confusing, and then they go on a hiatus. I'll make more arguments about this later, or we'll talk about it more later, but I don't know that it wouldn't be suitable for a fan of the original Doom series at the time this came out. So I would say recommend to somebody with a fucking time machine listening to our podcast from the year 2005.
I see, yes.
Got it. All right, that sounds like not really much of a recommendation at all from the Straight Chilling crew, but we're going to go ahead and drop that spoiler warning and get into the rest of the movie. Here we go.
Spoiler warning.
Rod, did you watch any of these additional features?
Dude, I couldn't bring myself to do it.
One of them, it has no description. So the other ones have like basic training, join the Rock, and cast for combat training with special military experts. One of them just says Rock formation. I have no idea what that is.
That's the Rock doing his
God.
Cheerleading.
I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, do you have that plot synopsis for us?
Yeah, I got a plot synopsis. You ready for it?
I feel like this is going to be dismissively short.
It's on the shorter end for sure, but honestly, like, I don't know what else I could have.
It's still like a paragraph.
Yeah, it's a paragraph.
Yeah, please. No, hey, hit me with it.
All right, here we go. In the year 2026, a portal leading to an ancient city on Mars is found in the Nevada desert. 20 years later, the research team working for the Union Aerospace Corporation on Mars is attacked by an unknown assailant. A team of 8 Marines are sent to the facility to investigate and retrieve computer data. The team is comprised of Sarge, Mahonen, Duke, Goat, Destroyer, Portman, Mac, and Reaper. While on Mars, Reaper is reunited with his sister Sam, who is a scientist, and he finds out the dig site their parents were killed at years before has been reopened, and ancient skeletons of a humanoid race with a 24th pair of chromosomes has been found. The team find a traumatized Dr. Carmack, who put in the distress call originally. He then disappears and later reappears in a mutated form. Goat is killed by a creature in the sewer. They perform an autopsy on that creature and they find human organs inside. Goat comes back to life and I guess kills himself by smashing his head into a plate glass window because he is a very godly person and was aware that he was transforming. They continue hunting down creatures one by one, and Mac, Destroyer, and Portman all die in the process. We find out UAC was experimenting on humans with the 24th chromosome they found. Some of the experiments mutated into violent creatures and broke out. Sam then hypothesizes not all people will become violent who are given the 24th chromosome, just those who are predisposed for violent and psychotic behavior. The people who are generally kind will just become superhumans and be able to retain their humanity. She also assumes this is what happened to the ancient Martians, and that's why they built the Ark in order to escape. Kid informs Sarge he found a group of survivors and he refuses to kill them all. Sarge shoots and kills Kid for insubordination. Duke is then killed. Sarge and Peaky are dragged away. Reaper gets hit by a bullet and his sister injects him with the chromosome to keep him from dying. He ends up surviving, and we jump into the first-person POV like the video game, and he kills several creatures. He finds his sister unconscious and also finds a mutated Sarge who has gone on a killing spree. Reaper and Sarge battle. Sarge is thrown back through the portal to Mars, and Reaper throws a grenade in after him, blowing up the portal and assumedly killing Sarge. Reaper picks up his sister, and they jump on the elevator and ride it back up to the Nevada desert. Roll credits. Gentlemen, let's talk about Doom. Doom.
All right.
All right.
Ooh, the Rock.
You start.
Can we pause just 1 second? Randy, is there any way you can turn your mic up? You sound like a little quiet.
Is that better at all?
Or Juice?
Better.
I think Juice.
Did that
Testing,
help?
testing.
I just
Testing,
turned my
testing,
volume
testing.
up because it's feeding
Okay.
through there.
Can you
Testing, testing.
Can you hit me with a bump, Randy? Because those were quiet too.
Yeah.
You think that helps me turn my volume up?
I think that last bump does sound a little bit louder.
I think
Well, here,
I just
try-
turned my volume up because you're being fed through my computer.
Try this.
Be prepared to be bedazzled.
Any better?
Yes, that is substantially
Okay.
better. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. We're in good shape then.
Make a little note of the time. Okay.
Prepared to be.
All right. I'm sorry, Juice. Were you about to say something when I cut off?
I can kick it off. Yeah.
Okay. Juice. Let's get into Doom. What do you think?
So it was wild to kick this movie off because this is The Rock in his early days when we think he was probably still wrestling at this time.
I think so.
And it's weird because he's a huge, movie star now, doing a bunch of Disney films and Fast and Furious and pretty much every other action movie that comes out. But he looks so significantly smaller in this movie, which is weird because, he's wrestling at the time. But I don't know. It just seemed weird that he was.
I mean, he could still crush you with his balls. If he
For
wanted,
sure.
but-
This is
yeah.
well before he could go by Dwayne Johnson and
Oh,
still get
yeah.
right.
into
yeah.
films.
He
Like
is-
and
in the credits, it says The Rock.
oh yeah, which I mean, and he kiboshed that pretty quickly. I want to say, like, it wasn't too long after this, but like you can really tell, like in the universe of wrestling actors or wrestlers who act. I heard a friend of mine who's big into wrestling describe him as the most famous, but the best being Dave Bautista, which I don't know if I agree or not. I haven't seen enough Dave Bautista work, but I will say that whatever talent The Rock does have, Dwayne has for acting, which I think is not insignificant, is very much not on display in this movie. He is barely cut his teeth at this point, and I don't know if it's just the writing. I think I feel like they don't give him a lot. They don't give him a variance of things to do. I don't think, at least none that are portrayed well. So I just don't think he's doing a great job, and this is not his best showing, and it's not the best material to start with. So
yeah, the material is rough. Honestly, you could have a great cast and this movie would probably still be dog shit. Like these characters, we know very, very little about any of them. They just have like little like character flaws that we know. Like Sarge, I guess, is like, you know, very by the books, and if you don't follow protocol, he'll apparently just fucking murder you. Portman is just kind of like the sleaze bag, and he's like hitting on all the ladies and saying inappropriate things. We've got the character Goat, who is like hyper religious, and when he takes the Lord's name in vain, he like cuts a cross into his arm. Kid is just the rookie. That's just all he is. That's like the only people I can even remember.
Destroyer is kind of like the muscle. He's got the bigger gun.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like the muscle of the group.
I guess
whatever.
Reaper is supposed to be the normal guy that we identify with.
Yeah.
There's also
normal Whitey.
Yeah.
Pinky, who is the guy that's not a Marine, but he's kind of their eye in the sky.
Yeah. What was the guy's name who was with the doctor most of the time? He was kind of hitting on the sister, but not
That
in
was
like
Duke.
as sleazy a way.
Duke,
Okay,
yeah,
Duke.
Duke, yeah.
Okay. And there was one more guy who was left behind with Pinky initially.
That was Mac,
Okay,
whose
ooh.
name is actually something Takaishi, and they made a big joke about it. Oh, well, it's Mac then, huh?
Oh.
And it was bad.
Well, yeah,
I
but that's
see.
like as deep as any of these characters go. I guess we're supposed to
Yeah.
have some sort of like heartfelt moment between like the brother and sister, and like, you know, their parents are gone, but like that relationship is like really not built upon. Like, I feel like if anything would be, it would be that. And you're like, oh, they're reunited and maybe they'll have a heartfelt conversation about how they both miss their parents or what. But like that shit just never happens. And I guess this is a Doom movie, so like it's silly to
Yeah.
expect that. But like you don't give a shit about any of these characters at all, or at least I didn't.
I mean, I really tried to meet this movie where it's at. You know what I mean? Like the brother and sister angle was the only centerpiece of the like quote unquote story. The rest was very much like leading up to and then achieving whatever fan service they could, which I would say they did a little bit, but probably not enough to satisfy anybody who actually wanted to see, you know, a space marine in hell, which they don't get in this movie. They don't get to see actual hell or anything like that.
Yeah. Ugh.
So promise is not fulfilled in that regard. But as far as the like story itself goes, I would argue that it does have a little bit of interest at one point when Sarge starts making a heel turn. I would say that scene between him and Carl Urban is the strongest acted scene or strongest like character moment in the movie, because we get to see like the whole movie is set around The Rock as a centerpiece. Everything about the setup for this up until this point has really geared him to be the central hero. And then they go the other way with it, which I give them credit for. I think that was pretty effective. And it also showed that like you guys said, like his big character flaw is that he's so by the book that, you know, you forget in the midst of all this shit that what these guys are paid mercenaries. They're not good people. So the idea that he would kill a room full of children and, you know, scared people is not at all incongruous with what they do. In fact, he says that's what they pay us for. And that conflict between him and Keith, I keep wanting to say Keith Urban, Carl Urban, or
I've watched that movie.
See,
I would
gotta-
not.
I gotta disagree with you a little bit, because the only other moment where I thought they really kind of tried to develop his character, or at least set him up as some kind of character, was at the beginning when he tells Carl Urban, where he's like, you know, go ahead, take your leave. You know, you don't need to be on this one, where it seems like he's a very sympathetic, understanding leader who's the same. Okay, so the guy who comes off as very sympathetic and tells one of his members to not even join the mission is also the same guy who's going to murder a rookie because he doesn't follow one rule. That doesn't line up to me.
It's a mislead. I mean, it's an intentional mislead to show.
I know, but
him
I'm
as a
just far as like
centerpiece.
character
But
development.
I don't think it is, because literally the only thing he says the entire movie that he actually cares about is getting the mission done and his soldiers. He didn't want his soldier to go through that. He showed empathy to somebody who he depended on to get his number one priority, the mission, taken care of. And so I don't think that that's incongruous at all. I think that's in line with the character being hell bent. Is like, well, if you come, we're going to be tough as nails. We're going to do all the horrible things that we're paid to do, and buck up. And then the kid doesn't, and he says, well, that's mutiny.
Well,
And he
I
kills
guess-
them. Like that's something that would happen in a team of mercenaries, maybe.
Well, I guess I was kind of waiting for almost like an alien moment where he was, I don't know. I know they work for it or whether they're Marines, but they're working for this corporation, I guess. I don't know. I was waiting for this moment because it's crazy how it plays out. But Richard Brake's character, actually, as sleazy and terrible as he is, once shit starts going down, he's the one who's actually talking the most sense, where he's like, well, no, protocol says that we actually go hold down the fort and call for reinforcements. And instead, The Rock is just like, nope, we're fucking pressing forward. And he doesn't like murder Richard Brake's character, and he doesn't follow the protocol. So I'm like,
he would have, if it was a direct like contradiction of his order. I think he would have. Like I certainly once he had lost some soldiers as well, I think that galvanized him to be like, well, if you're not helping, then you're a liability. I'll kill you. Like, I don't know that he would have. I don't think he jumped straight to that. The thing is, I don't see him as like if you want to go with the mindhunterness of it all, I think he's an organized killer. Like, he's going to do the things that benefit his end goals, and they can be terrible, evil things, including moffing his own men, which is a contradiction to one of his other goals, because his main priority is getting paid and doing this job. I think he's a sociopath in some way, or like what we would commonly call a sociopath. And I think that it's intentionally hidden from us throughout the course of the film, up until the point where it comes to a head. And I was really surprised that they did that with a likable, like the only like known person in this movie, really, that somebody going to see a Doom movie would recognize, is the most popular wrestler in the world at the time.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they would go that route, I kind of respect it. And I think it was justified enough for this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine, I guess. Like, I'm not super shocked to see it happen when it does. But I think it's probably just like some lackluster writing. Like, maybe there should have been some more early signs that The Rock was like kind of fucked up, or maybe prone to unnecessary violence or something like that. That, I don't know. It does seem somewhat quick when it happens, but I don't really. That's not necessarily like the worst part of the movie. I'm not like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that.
Yeah. To me, it's one of the better parts, and it's not because it's brilliant. It's just because it's unexpected. And this movie is nothing if not expected on pretty much every level besides this,
Yeah.
So I just got to give credit for at least pulling one rug, Like,
something that Justin and I noticed was whenever Rosamund Pike's character, Sam, comes on screen, she's sort of like, when she's first introduced, it almost sounds like she's really having to fight her British accent to cover it up.
But sure.
And her vowels are like very odd sounding, and I think it gets smoothed out as the movie goes. But like the first couple scenes she's in, it sounds really weird.
Yeah, at first we were like, what is she speaking? Like, it was, we rewound it to like watch it a couple times because we were like, what is she doing? And we looked it up and we're like, oh, she's British. And I assume they couldn't, since they're supposed to be twins, and it was probably hopeless that guy would do any kind of semblance of a British accent. They just,
I don't know. He was in
American
Thor.
accent.
He had an Asgardian accent in Thor. So
Oh, well.
I
An
think I don't
Asgard
remember, but
But
which might as well just be
anyways.
like Shakespearean English.
Yeah, it was weird. It was super weird.
Rosamund Pike, man, I want to I feel bad because I've seen her in other things do okay. Like she was in this movie I Care a Lot that I watched recently. That wasn't bad, and she was like incredibly effective as a loathsome, conniving monster, basically. But in this, she is just blank through the whole movie. Like, it's just wide-eyed stares and the occasional scream that sounds pretty robotic, if I'm being honest. And I didn't notice like the accent thing, but it's primarily because I was distracted by how unnatural she felt in all of this in a movie that is very much unnatural to begin with.
Yeah. I will say, like, if somebody who's never played a Doom movie is going to go watch, or sorry, never played a Doom video game, is going to go watch a Doom movie, what I would most be looking forward to is like awesome creature effects, like crazy fucking creatures going apeshit. And like you do get a fair amount of creatures eventually in this movie, but they are so poorly lit. And this movie, start to finish, overall, is just so damn dark. You can't even really see what's going on, and you don't have the ability to appreciate these creatures and whether or not they're even like made well. Like I can't even necessarily tell you. Like I was underwhelmed because I couldn't see them. So I don't know. Apparently most of them are practical with like some CGI over top from what I was reading, but like I couldn't even like tell you that if I didn't like look it up. I just assumed they were CG, and that's why they don't show you, because
I did too.
Bad. Yeah. I don't know. I was really disappointed in that aspect of the movie, because that's really what I would want out of it, if anything.
Honestly, the thing is, if they did show more, they would at this time definitely have gone CG. I mean, there's no way that they wouldn't have, and then it would have looked definitively as doo-doo.
Well,
So on some level, I'm grateful for that, but
one of the biggest disappointments for me as a Doom video game is, one, the setting is boring as shit and doesn't look like anything. They give you one tease of like these crazy guns, and that's it. That was kind of a big disappointment. And they're on Mars. So the setting, they're on Mars. There's supposed to be hell involved, and like that's not really done at all.
They make it metaphorical or something.
Yeah, and also too is they essentially turn it into a weak ass Resident Evil / zombie take. I mean, this could easily be switched out and slap Resident Evil on the side. You go to a lab. Essentially, they're kind of turning into zombies. You know, they're transforming, and if you just changed that they turn into like demon-looking things to zombies, it's a Resident Evil-esque ripoff. It's not Doom. They're not.
I don't know, man. It's well, that's how it was in the game. Like there were zombie monster type things, demons in the game. So it is these are villains that are in the game. Like you can literally find, like there's a whole like stage that is just you fighting like demon space marines. Like, so I don't think that's that part. Like I totally see what you're saying though. It's built like a zombie movie, and it's built like in terms of like the nearest correlation movie wise is definitely Resident Evil for sure. No question about that. I will say that like to me though, they do make some hints at fan service. They fucking like jerk off the BFG, even though they underuse it. They sure as shit make it a sexy sex point, you know? They have like, and probably the best scene for me, my favorite scene in the movie, is when they go full apeshit first person shooter and they show the fucking Carl Urban running rampant throughout this whole place, having the flashing lights, people jumping up at him, like all that stuff. It's not great, but it hits me on that same like visceral, like hardcore Henry level thing. If a lot more of this movie featured that, I would probably enjoy it more, because that's the action spectacle I expect from Doom. That with like the insane driving fucking heavy metal music, like it's very much hitting that chord of what would pass as edgy in 1993. You know, it's similar to like the Mortal Kombat movie that came out originally, the original one, and it's like, you know, it's dumb and stupid, but it has a few moments and it does enough with the source material to where I feel like not every fan's going to have it, but a few of them will be just happy to see their favorite gun and happy to see the monsters that they recognize. Yeah. Even if they're not explicitly calling it hell, which I think is a huge misstep. Like, why not? Why not differentiate yourself that way?
Or even like going to Mars and just being in this, like,
it could be anywhere,
Nickelodeon looking fucking studio.
The only reason
it's the same 4 rooms like 100 times.
The only reason we know they're on Mars is because they say it. There's no way you would know otherwise.
They show one shot out a window. One.
Yeah. So to be fair to Randy, I was just looking up monsters from 93 Zoom.
Yeah.
And the basic ass ones, I guess the most basic is Zombie Man, once a Marine or guard-like protagonist, now a green-haired hell-possessed soldier carrying a rifle, weakest of the enemies, and then Shotgun Guy, a bald, more durable zombie in black armor with a shotgun, a bit tougher than Zombie Man. So yeah, okay.
And they also like the one, like the first tier of zombie type killer, the one with the spikes coming out of his shoulders. I'm pretty sure that's what like some of the like more evolved versions. I don't know what they're called exactly, but maybe
a brown human-sized humanoid demon that throws fireballs.
Yeah, they don't throw fireballs, but like that. Like I think that what they're slowly turning into in the course of this movie is basically that design.
Gotcha.
We just don't get to see enough of it to really be sure. And then there's a bunch of others that they totally could have used. The fucking like that Pinky, the guy that was like, you know, had like his spine cut or whatever, and had the wheels. When his monster showed up, I was like, oh shit, they did another monster from the game. But it turns out it was just very similar to a Half-Life monster. So no points for that.
Actually, there was the next on the list is a thing called Demon, and in parentheses, it says Pinky. And it says, about the size of a gorilla, this muscular pink brute runs quickly on its two hind legs to bite opponents. While not an immediate threat on its own, when in groups, they do have a tendency to try and outflank their targets. So there, I guess that was based on.
Yeah, I can I know that monster, and I'm looking at it now because I looked it up. I guess they went for that, but because Pinky didn't like, there's no point to Pinky being like split in half then.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
At least the other way, it looked like the two-legged thing, no arm monster from Half-Life, whose name I'll never know, like that shoots green shit at you or something. Like it looks a lot more like that than it does like this creature. It's just bipedal, you know?
Yeah.
I was really disappointed in the BFG situation. Like you said, Randy, there's like a few nods. Like the build up for the BFG is fucking big, man. And he finally gets the gun and he's like, oh shit. And then he shoots it once and then like nothing happens. And then
he didn't even hit anything. They never
anything.
hit anything.
What
the fucking BFG?
Also, what an underused, like massive piece of that
like,
game that people fucking love, and they just kind of throw it away. It was
they so lovingly craft its appearance, and then they just fart it out. Like, yeah, I was kind of pissed about that.
Well, it also blows a big ass hole through apparently a space station on Mars,
and it doesn't matter. Don't
worry, it was a back room. It was a back room on Mars.
Also, I mean. Come on. I'm just frustrated by the idea, even in 2005. Come on. The idea that you're in a futuristic space station and you have to go through this maze of demon zombies to access data on a computer. Like, what? Download that shit.
I don't know, man. You wouldn't download a car.
From the Mars.
Well, if
cloud.
it's secure shit, then maybe. I don't know. I'm making too many apologies for this movie's
figuring it out, the inner workings of the
I can
Martian
make
lab.
it make sense, but that's not my job. Really.
Yeah, and then also I guess the cop out that literally everyone we've seen up until this point of like the 10% is your soul, and nobody. So literally all the scientists and all the Marines and literally like all the people trying to survive in quarantine that are infected by demons are all just the biggest pieces of shit. And this one Marine who thinks he's a piece of shit is the one redeemable person who gets to have superhuman.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know if they say that. I have a problem with it, certainly, but I think that it's implied that like the children and like that one lady doctor that helps and is sent away early in the movie, whose brother was who was killed. Like they don't turn, and then like you see one scientist who's just dead, and with two of them next to each other, and they come back later, and one of them's gone and is transformed, but he has not. Okay. So I think that what it's saying is like depending on how good of a person you are, you're either turned into a monster or you're turned into a mega person who can do cool shit. But the problem with that is that we see like every single one of the. Like you think about the one person we saw who killed themselves to avoid transitioning into a demon was the guy who was like the only character trait he had was being godly, pious, even as he killed people. So I mean, he was pious. So taking that into account, like that might mean nothing or whatever, obviously, but because he's still killing people. So you say stuff, okay, so it's a mislead because he's still killing people. He's still a piece of shit, but he does this one good thing. But then Reaper doesn't change. He's doing all the same shit this guy's doing. He's killing all the same people for the most part. Like, it's not internally consistent logic. And I guess for Doom, that's supposed to be fine, but it just kind of sucks because why even lay the groundwork if you're not going to follow it?
Well, they sold Richard Brake's character as a piece of shit. So it would make sense if like Richard Brake turned into a demon. Like, okay, we've seen this guy be a piece of shit.
Or even The Rock. Once he makes his
sure. Okay. But everybody.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I don't think everybody does. I don't think that's true. But I think that who they decide is worthy of being a mega person versus a demon is really shoddily figured, and it's just you're not supposed to look at it too closely, and that's our job. So we are, and it sucks.
Since we just talked about The Thing, I've got it fresh on the brain. I keep like comparing this movie to that. There's an autopsy.
Oh God.
There's an autopsy scene in this movie where they're cutting over one of the creatures and they pull out like human organs and they're like, oh, these are human and normal as fuck, just like The Thing. I was like, maybe that's a nod to The Thing. I don't know. But also, like, these people start turning on each other, and you're like, well, we're supposed to be a team, but like, I don't know, maybe I can't trust all these motherfuckers, especially if they got the chromosome. Maybe they'll turn into a piece of shit, or they'll turn into a superhuman that's like really cool and it's gonna help me out or whatever. Like, you don't really know which way it's gonna go. I don't know. I just kept thinking about The Thing. Also, speaking of John Carpenter movies, I might add, this is like somehow a worse version of Ghosts of Mars. I think I'd much rather watch Ghosts of Mars.
Interesting. I don't remember enough about Ghosts of Mars to really even say that, but they at least go out into Mars. And
there's Mars.
And there are ghosts.
And the monsters are at least somewhat distinct, or look. You can see them.
Yeah.
You can see.
You know
what a low
well, that's not always a beneficial thing, obviously. But
I do remember that was like one of the worst movies we covered, though. I remember hating details about it, but I remember hating it.
It actually had a heavy metal soundtrack, unlike this Doom movie for some reason.
Wait, unlike?
Right. I maybe I just don't remember the soundtrack, but like, was there metal in this? Was that like a?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
a lot of it.
I'll see myself out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like for the most part good, but it's based.
Yeah.
Or at least it matches the kind of whatever synth heavy metal we got in Doom 93. Like to me, it was pretty in line with that. I would say that that's one of the best transitions over that we got from the video game is the music. And even like the credits, which were not like fabulous or whatever, but like they had like a song that I found myself like getting stupidly into. I was like, okay, like, yeah, badass. Like,
dude, I'm about to watch Ghost of Mars.
Dude,
again.
we're looking at Ghost of Mars screenshots.
Can you guys focus on the movie we're reviewing, please? Ice
Cube is wearing red camo pants, which I guess makes sense because you're on fucking Mars. Yeah.
Portman, you need to shut the fuck up.
Nice, well played. There was some like metal band that John Carpenter hired to do the soundtrack for Ghost of Mars. I can't remember who it was now. Is I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. We're not reviewing that movie. I don't know. I feel like this movie could have been really badass if it had really laid into the BFG stuff, if we were able to see the monsters. And Randy, also, like you said, like when they do the first person shooter, it's dope, but it's like maybe 5 minutes of the movie. If they had that sprinkled throughout, which is Doom, the video game, I feel like it would be way more fun to watch this movie.
That felt the most right in the whole movie, and it was the most exciting.
I will say it felt the most right as far as like, oh, what would a Doom movie be? However,
exactly,
it does not hold up in any capacity. We were talking at the time I was watching, I was like, this looks like some of the shit you would see on the screens when you're waiting for a ride at like Universal Studios.
Yeah, I was gonna say this looks like a trackless ride screen that you need 3D glasses to appreciate.
Yeah, it looks so flat and bad. I was like,
and the timing of some of it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
but also like it was.
So
I don't know. To me, it was not good. It was not good. It felt like that, but to me, I had enough good time. Like I'm a sucker for the first person camera perspective in movies. It makes me feel more immersed, so I was immediately more into it in that way. And I just think that like, even like I like when I ride fucking the Spider-Man ride at Islands of Adventure, I'm not too worried about whether or not the fucking buildings look like people live in them, you know, like
Yeah.
it's that level of like disassociation from reality that particular scene is perfect for utilizing, in my opinion.
I honestly cannot believe Randy's the one who's defending this movie the most.
I
think that's.
I don't
the
like it
biggest
any more than
surprise
you
of
do.
today.
I'll tell you that. I don't know. I think I don't think that it is completely irredeemable the way that some of the other movies we watched have been. I just think that it's really incompetent and doesn't hit enough pleasure points for me. There's not enough action in this fucking action movie. There's hints of action for a long time, but if you're going to do that, then you need a much slower paced movie that Doom, the video game, is not really built to convey.
And you gotta
so
have
having this driving
characters.
music and like insane shit, you don't need that. Like for a Doom movie based on the fucking games that I have played from Doom, you just need this fucking soundtrack. You need some first person bullshit. You need some badass action and some scary monsters. Everything else can be set dressing, and this movie only delivers that like maybe a quarter of the way.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, because this came out in a time where there were a ton of movies that were like that. So even if they're like Resident Evil is not a great movie, but in my mind, it's been a long time since I've seen it. It's at least more entertaining in the spectacle it wants to give you. You know, we always joke about Underworld, but at least again, it kind of knows what it is and what it should be and gives you those things for entertainment value. I didn't feel like this one really did in an effective way. I felt like it could have been ramped up, like even a Ghost of Mars or something. Like take it to the max.
Take it to the max.
I just felt like for what this should have been, for as ridiculous as Doom games are and can be and are notorious for, you know, this feels so bland for a Doom movie.
It definitely does. And I think part of that is because they didn't go full blush into the hell aspect. They just made hints at it. And, you know, even the end of this movie is clearly, to me, supposed to be setting up a sequel, which I think they did eventually come out with Doom Annihilation, something like that, which is weirdly like the exact same sequel title as a Mortal Kombat. But, which is of the same quality level in my opinion.
It was like 15 years later though.
And so it was completely unrelated. But I think what they were like, well, if this is successful, then we'll do what came next. At the end, you don't see Carl Urban ascend into normal society again. And that's because in the video game, when they come back, everything's already taken over and hell's on earth.
Yeah.
So like we didn't get to see that, and we didn't get any direct correlation to hell. So and then the BFG didn't actually hit anything and was shot twice. And, you know, there's a lot of cucking going on in this movie, like cucking the fans. And, you know, not a lot of people are into that. Not as many people are into that.
Unsurprisingly so. I want to give some shouts outs to Richard Brake real quick. He's a terrible motherfucker in this movie and says some heinous shit, but he is funny.
I fell in the damn hole.
And memorable.
Yeah, he's funny, he's memorable. Like when he's on screen, like you are reacting to him instead of just like watching visuals flash before your eyes and like trying not to fucking fall asleep. Also, like, I've only seen him in a handful of movies, and like half of those are Rob Zombie movies, but I feel like he's like typecast as a piece of shit. Like I don't know if I've ever seen him be like a good dude in a movie.
I haven't.
He's got that kind of face.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like I've never seen somebody who just looks like he should be
in a Rob Zombie movie.
Like, he was in Batman Begins. He's the guy who kills Bruce Wayne's parents.
Yeah.
Joe Chill.
Yeah.
He was Joe Chill. Of course.
Yeah.
I think he's got like a menacing smile to him, you know, like
he does. Yeah.
And that's what got him the fucking role or not got him, but like that's why he was the perfect casting for Rob Zombie's 31. As much as I hate that movie, like, yeah, he was perfect for that role.
Here's some
because he just has that look.
He's going to be in the Monsters movie. Rob Zombie's
Monsters.
Oh, wow.
Okay. He's in Batman Begins, Doom, Munich, The Black Dahlia, Hannibal Rising.
Good for him.
Yeah, Halloween Deuce. Oh my lord.
The ambulance
the
driver.
zombie one. Okay, I was like,
the Rob Zombie one. No, Water for Elephants. Thor: The Dark World.
No, never saw that.
I saw it, but I
would
don't know
love
who
to
it is.
see
I assume
him.
He's an elf guy. Oh, he's in one of the Kingsman movies. I think the first one. 31. Oh man, he's Mandy. He's the chemist.
Oh yeah,
And Mandy, that's
Oh
right.
yeah.
3 from Hell.
He wasn't completely loathsome in that.
He was
No.
in a Tremors 2020 movie, Tremors Shrieker Island.
Yeah, I don't think we need to pay attention to that.
Maybe we should.
And he's gonna be the Virtuoso last year. I don't know what that is, and the Monsters this year. Oh God.
I've just only ever seen him in roles for the most part that lean into what I think that the casting director noted about him on day one, which is, man, you look like you would fucking stab somebody in an alley and smile and laugh about it. Like that's a typecasting that, and no shade to the man. I don't want to like rip on somebody's appearance or whatever, but like he's got a look that is easy to adapt in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's also
there's something I remember.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
He's
Night
the
King.
Night King.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like there's something about. I remember hearing on the Harmontown podcast that we're talking about like learning. Like taking acting classes, and one in particular they talked about how they would go up to people in the airport in pairs. Like they would have like if Justin and I were at an airport, I would go up to somebody and say like, hey, you see that guy over there, and point to Justin and be like, okay, we're in a class together and our assignment is for us to get your cold reading. What do you think that guy is like? And they are supposed to be distilling down their essential qualities and what's like on site, what people might think of you, so you can lean into that as an actor. And Richard Brake is that. Like that's his essential function, his essential essence is being seeming like a creeper.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think there's some value to that. Obviously, it's gotten him.
People do that shit all the time. I mean, people pretend to be. I mean, gang members or
Willem Dafoe looks like a
Willem
fucking like psychopath or some shit for some reason, and I can't even describe why. But he's.
I mean, all the dudes in the fucking Sopranos. I mean,
yeah,
just
they're all pieces of shit in the show. That is, but they kill it. They do a great job.
Right.
Richard Brake. Anytime he's in anything, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, Richard Brake. At least I know he's gonna turn in a great performance. So
he's at least gonna say something fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It seems like he always tries to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's putting in the effort.
He goes hard. I
feel like Carl Urban is trying, but it's Keith Urban, of course. Yes.
Well, he's supposed to be vanilla as fuck. So I mean, what do you?
So he can be like the generic Doom guy at the end of the day, and I think that he fulfills that role fine. But I just like the pathos doesn't work for me. The scene where he's like looking out the window and he's hearing like his parents' death, it immediately made me think of that scene from fucking Team America where Gary is remembering his parents getting ripped apart by monkeys at a zoo. And it's just like hearing it in his head. I don't know. It was very stupid.
Oh, we need to cover that movie.
Team America.
Just anything, really. We're going to cover C-SPAN footage.
Damn.
True horror, really. Gentlemen, is there any other points you guys want to hit before we go ahead and rate this thing?
What's left to say?
The silence is overwhelming.
Yeah, the soul is in our DNA, boys, or whatever.
Our soul's in DNA.
I am going to drop a deuce on everybody.
That's what I wanted to say.
Drop a deuce on everybody.
All right, well, let's go ahead and rate this thing. So like we mentioned in the past, we're doing something new this year for the You Pick movies. This movie, again, was chosen by Alex K. And if you do sign up on Patreon and you choose a movie for us to talk about, we encourage you guys to send us an email to read on the show with your own thoughts and rating, or you're also welcome to call me voicemail with your own thoughts and ratings, sort of like we do towards the end of the show. We kind of wrap everything up and rate it out of 5. Alex sent us an email, so we're going to go ahead and read that and see what Alex thinks about Doom.
I don't know why I volunteered to do this. I always fuck it up really bad, but here we go.
You got this.
Hey, what's up, guys? Alex here to give you my review on Doom starring The Rock. I want to start this by saying that I grew up with this movie. Saw it for the first time when I was 11 or 12. At the time, it was all about Halo and first-person shooters for me, so big dudes with even bigger guns taking on hordes of aliens or demons. Most of the visual effects remind me of a video game also, but that first-person sequence will always be badass. I'm really surprised with how well the practical effects look. All the monsters look slimy and grimy. However, The Rock's makeup at the end reminds me of a shitty werewolf movie. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that really. But honestly, you can't tell what the fuck is going on because most of the camera angles are weird and how many dark moments there are. The editing is poor and distracting. The score or soundtrack with the random drum solos going on in between the heavy metal riffs at random non-climactic scenes are just dumb. The plot is lacking a bit, and the idea of a virus choosing to infect someone because you're good or evil is not too happy with the setting either. You're on Mars and show like 2 minutes of landscape throughout the whole 2 minutes of landscape throughout the whole movie and refine everything too dark, damp corridors and shit covered rooms. The dialogue is really bad, but hearing The Rock say fuck every 10 seconds makes up for it. Crazy to see Carl Urban, Rosamund Pike, and The Rock before they got big. Dude has his own tequila brand, TV show, and stars in every movie that takes place in a jungle. God bless the 2000s. Oh, God. Anyways, I'm giving this guy a 2 stars, mostly based off of cool practical effects, big guns, and straight nostalgia of watching this as a kid. Thanks, guys, for the pick. Keep chilling.
Nice.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for being hard with this guy.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good thoughts for sure.
Yeah, I think that a bit of nostalgia would go a fucking long way for this movie, for sure.
I mean, we were
For
a bit
sure.
older when we saw this movie, but so yeah, I could
that's
see
kind of
it
the
seeing it
perfect
like
age.
at
He was the
11,
demographic.
seeing it at 11 years old, I could see
Yeah,
having a soft spot in your heart for it.
it probably
Rob
felt
likes
fresh.
98 Godzilla for God's sakes.
I do, and I
Yeah.
was probably
Yeah,
and
it's a
that's
great
the
point.
age.
I was 10, 11 when I saw it. I fucking love that shit.
I want to point out that that song that I called out as being kind of a light bop is actually a 9 Inch Nails song. So that was 9 Inch Nails in the
That was
yeah.
in the credits. Yeah.
in the credits. That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until I just looked it up. I've never really listened to 9 Inch Nails all that much, so
Maybe you should, Randy.
maybe. I
what
don't
have you been-
usually like go for that kind of shit, but
What have you been banging to on your goth sex night, Randy?
When
That's-
is goth sex?
That's
night?
my
You know-
go-to. That's
you know, it's
verbal
been on- it's
lashing
on-
night.
It's what?
Verbal lashing night.
Verbal
Oh,
lash.
That we were talking about
it's
on the
humiliation
Slack.
core shit. Oh, okay. Your OnlyFans must
Humiliation
be popping off.
core.
Are you calling a cootie queen, you lit liquor?
You cooter queen.
Humiliation core? What the fuck? Tell me what a piece of shit I am. Yeah.
Dude,
Fuck yeah.
I have seen more than my share of people selling that service to people and getting money for it. It's crazy.
I'll tell someone they're a
For
piece
me,
of shit
it's
for
not for
money.
me.
Yeah, I wonder what
I
that
mean,
price
get in
tag
there,
looks
Bob.
like.
You also
yeah.
gotta like show your feet and stuff though too, so get prepared for that.
Look at my feet, you piece of shit. I got this in the bag.
Dude, don't give it all away for free, Bob. This isn't paid for, you know.
Dude, somebody's replaying that clip over and over and over and over.
I have
The
a
free-
daddy kink.
You
the-
piece of
It's
shit.
the free 10-second clip. The preview.
Look at these
Yep.
nails. Anyway,
And it
thanks.
also isn't penetrating you. That's a bummer.
Randy, you're just turning too many people on right now.
I know everybody's just blowing loads in their shorts. Oh god,
Everyone's
Just
shorts
like-
are ruined.
they're so sticky. Oh god.
Thank God
Thanks.
we're working from home.
Thanks, Alex, for picking the flick and for the email, man. Let's go ahead and rate this movie ourselves. Juice, kick us off. Doom out of 5. How do you feel?
Yeah, I did not see this at the right time. And so while I'd seen it before a long, long time ago, it did not stick with me in a good way. Watching it again, I found it even more kind of bland. It was cool realizing that the character I've been quoting for years and years and years is Richard Brake. He did at least make that character memorable and distinct in a movie that overall is just bland to the max. From the
Bottle of
writing.
tequila and 3 she-boys.
Nothing more distinctive than that.
Oh yeah, that lives in my memory.
That's so sad.
This movie, I just feel like it's so bland. The setting, like he said, you're on Mars, the gray ass blue fucking rooms and shit. It just like you said, they go to the same 4 rooms. This woman's trying to do an accent. It's bad. Nobody has any kind of real characters. The monsters like might look okay if they weren't just fucking in the dark all of the time. I don't know. I just don't think it's very good. I don't think it offers a whole lot. Even the coolest segment, like, okay, I appreciate that they lean into the first person aspect of Doom, but it lasts like 3 minutes maybe, and it looks like garbage these days. Like, it does not hold up. So I'm going to give this a half star, plus I'm a man of my code. So I will offer a half star for the Yabos. There were a Scotch Demon Yabos.
Were there?
One arm Yabos.
Yeah, that lady who gets her arm cut off, and then Richard Brake and the kid are creeping on her, and she's like
in the locker room.
She
turns around.
And
I
Richard,
don't remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, it's real brief, but I will stick to it. So that will end Doom with a 1 star. Whew. Bob,
Yes.
out of 5, please give me a rating for Doom.
Man. I was excited to revisit this because the only thing I remember are the goofy lines that you and I say far too often for, since 2005, which is new. But there's really like not much.
17 years.
I know, God, half of our lives we've been saying bottle of tequila and 3 she boys. What are we doing?
It might be time to put that one out to pasture.
Yeah. I think it probably is. But that's really all there is to remember about this movie is Goofy Richard Brake and maybe the like short scene towards the end where they do the first person shooter stuff, which is like probably back in the day, people were very impressed by that, I would think anyways, but it just, like Justin said, it just really doesn't hold up now. We've seen so much better CGI. The creature effects might be dope, but the movie's just so dark, you can't really appreciate them. The characters just really aren't developed at all. The acting really is not there for The Rock. And, he typically plays a fairly charming person, but not in this movie. So like, you're not even really rooting for The Rock, and he's not turning in a very good performance. It's just lacking in almost every single way. And the biggest complaint I have with this movie is that it is boring. And it's like I was struggling to pay attention to this movie. Like, I really had to force myself to watch it. And like when it was over, I was like, thank God it's over. Like it wasn't super enjoyable. It's a half star for me, and I don't have the weird titty code that Justin does.
Weird.
So it's staying at a half star.
Rob, please. The word you use is the problem here.
Yeah, I am Yabo.
Got so many angles, it's almost just a curve.
Rob is a man with no code. You'd heard it here first.
Codeless. Half star from me. Randy, what do you think?
So I'm not as down on it as you guys are, obviously. I just to me, I feel like a lot of your complaints are very valid. I don't think that the monsters looked so bad. I feel like the fact that I could tell for the most part what monster they were going for from the game is all that really I needed. And I think showing more of them might not do it any favors. So to me, I don't think that's a misstep. The acting, the story, it's all very weak for the most part. You're like you said, yeah, The Rock has no charisma in this. His heel turn is the closest thing to it, and that's why it's my favorite like character scene in the movie, is because it has the most character happening. Like, I don't know, there's like completely fruitless shit that happens in this movie. Like, oh, the kid is on drugs and Richard Brake supplies it. Means nothing done there. Like the BFG, it shows up and then it completely fucks us by not doing anything except making one supposedly cool effect that looks dated as fuck now. I really still like that first person shooter scene. I don't think it looks as bad as you guys seem to, but I think because it's like it enters that kayfabe, glasses off sort of just let it happen. And it's all like, I like to immerse myself in it. It's like riding one of those like pretend roller coasters that's just a pod that you see a screen, and to me that's
cool.
Fine for a Doom video game. Like that's I don't need much more than that. But it's so long and it's just trapped in these 4 rooms. It doesn't really go to Mars, it doesn't really go to hell. And it just, I don't know, the effects that we do get a good look at, like the BFG, like the arc transmitter thing, like the nano doors, they all look really, really bad by today's standards. So it was tough to get around that. I don't know, man. It just, a lot of inconsequential shit happens in this movie, but not a lot of really exciting, fun shit, which is what I would want out of a Doom movie. So for that reason, more than anything else. Oh, and I did like some of the score. I like especially that Nine Inch Nails song. I thought was okay. And I liked that it was very in line with the movie or with the game. So all that considered, I'm going to give it a 1.5. I think that's a nice little valley between Justin's opinion and wait, who requested this? I'm blanking.
Alex.
I wanted to say Scott for some reason. I'm so sorry, Alex. Yeah, so I think that the nostalgia, if I had the nostalgia bug that he did, I might push me up to a 2, but I don't. So
well, and with that, the
hey.
Look,
And
do we need a 4th review? I don't think so.
With Randy's 1.5, that's going to make our aggregate a solid 1 star for Doom. Let's go ahead.
Let's go ahead and get into our Rotten Tomatoes segment.
Son of a bitch.
The critics and users have to say about Doom 2005.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment. Thank you, Justin, for that grand introduction.
Motherfucker.
So this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these gentlemen guess with the best of their abilities what the aggregate scores are, both critics and users, on RottenTomatoes.com. So we're going to start with our critics score, which there are 138 counted. 138, not a ton, but enough to get a nice variance of possibilities there. We'll start with Bob. Bob, what do you think that the critics gave this film?
Oh, this is a critical darling for sure. I played at Cannes, and there was a standing ovation at the end, and it was extremely well received for sure. So I'm gonna go with a 20%.
20%.
Yes.
Okay, Soju, where are you at with this one?
For some reason, have a scotch more faith in it. Just because I think because The Rock, I don't know, and video game movies, I think people go in with low expectations. But this is the critics who I might be giving too much credit that I should swing toward the audience score. I don't know. I'll say, what did you say?
20.
I'll go higher than that. I'll say 35, just to make it spicy.
35%. All right. Well, it was not spicy enough. 18% is correct. So
oh, damn. The Rock could not save it.
Oh. What?
Okay. 1 second. Is this better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, you made a classic mistake there, which is to assume that The Rock means bankable. In 2005, not the case. They very much thought of him like they do most wrestlers turned actors, as a bit of a punchline. So did not have the respect he now has. So
fair enough.
Miscalc. The critics' consensus reads as follows: the FPS sections are sure to please fans of the video game, but lacking in plot and originality to please other moviegoers. I think that is plenty fair. Myself. All right, let's go over to the audience score. There are over 250,000 audience scores.
Oh God.
Significantly more, so a bit of a crapshoot maybe. We'll see. We'll start with Soju this time. Where do you think the audience fell on this one?
Maybe I'll just stick with my gut and say that it's going to be higher than the critics, but not too high. So I'll stick with my 35.
All right, 35. Bob, where are you at with it?
I think I'm still going to go lower with a 33.
33. Wow. Yeah. Unprecedented times we live in, gentlemen. This is a tie. The correct percentage is 34%.
Wow.
I don't know if that's happened before.
I don't think it has.
That's nuts.
I should have just
tell you what.
34.
I know.
I think you guys.
I thought 33 was weird, but I'm glad you picked it now.
I think you guys earned this.
Hell yeah.
Hey, you had the.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you. You've
on
had those
your-
bumps all along. Damn.
Oh yeah, I just hate you.
Oh, yeah. We usually get the toilet or the baby.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yep. Which I know you love. All right. Yeah. So that's our Rotten Tomato segment. I'm going. Well, actually, let me really quickly. This one should, I feel like, have some prime comedic reviews. Let's hope that we get a funny one here. Let's see. What might have made for exciting action scenes tend to become mechanical exercises and first-person shooter monster blasting. That is not funny at all. You bastard. You son of a bitch.
First person shitters.
Oh man, characters keep disappearing and reappearing without explanation, and comic moments and moral messages. Don't do drugs. Genetic tampering is wrong. Jar against the action backdrop. I don't think there are many moral lessons in this movie at all. I don't know. This guy's giving us way too much credit.
Don't do drugs. I guess.
Movies inspired by computer games always seem to be more about merchandising than art, and this big screen adaptation of the groundbreaking shoot 'em up does little to dispel that view. Okay, well, I gave it 3 shots and none of them were fun, so
Yeah.
Shit them up.
Doom is a disappointment all around, it seems.
For Doom.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, did you look up trivia?
yeah, dude, I did. I sent it to you. Thank you, Randy, for
Wow.
doing your job.
Wow.
Let's go ahead and jump over into some trivia.
It's totally time for trivia.
There it is. Why do I even do this?
Just
Because
read.
Randy gave it.
'Cause
up.
I
He's
didn't want
still
to
running
anymore.
it. I'm about to pass along to Bob. He's looking up, anyways.
Yeah, Bob, you
Um,
don't do enough.
Yeah, I'm doing the clear segment.
Get to
next. God
work.
damn. All right. Here's some Doom trivia Bob looked up. Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg were approached to polish the script's dialogue, but declined. Oh,
They said, nah.
That's a damn
Oh,
shame.
no.
It couldn't have hurt.
Yeah.
It might have hurt their careers though, so I don't know.
Okay, this is interesting because of a little rivalry that's popped up over the past few years. Arnold Schwarzenegger was considered for the lead. Vin Diesel was offered the lead, but turned it down. Dwayne Johnson was offered the role of John Grimm, but turned it down in favor for Sarge, stating, "For some reason, I was drawn more to Sarge. I thought Sarge was, to me, more interesting and had a darker side." Okay,
Well,
so he
he had things to do.
Yeah.
That's
Wait, who's
that's a
Grimm?
plus.
Who's Grimm?
I don't even fucking know who that
Oh,
is.
that's Sam and Reaper's last name is Grimm.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Okay.
So the main, he
Gotcha.
could have been the main. All right. Monsters and creature effects for the film were created by Stan Winston Studios, supervised by John Rosengrant. The visual effects were supervised by John Farhat. Farhat? The film
John Fart.
Farhat. Farhat.
Farts. BM farts.
John Hart.
Hi, I'm BM farts. Fucking Tim and Eric. I gotta watch Tim and Eric tonight. I'm sorry.
Supervised by John Hart. The film included 350 effect shots. The work was shared between 2 companies. What, Rob? Why'd you pick
is
this?
such an easy button to press on Bob. It's like you make a fart or poop joke, and Bob is incapable of moving on.
Bob is off camera losing shit.
Listen to this
Behind the scenes.
Oh shit.
BM farts, Rob. You know? You know what I'm saying?
Oh fuck.
BFF, right, Bob?
Oh fuck.
The first
Fell in the damn hole.
the first person shooter sequence was completely directed by Fart and was filmed in 14 days after a planning period of 3 months. While the scene is one continuous shot, multiple cuts and Fart called hookups were made during
I gotta take a dump.
Oh shit. Randy's delivery really fucking killed me.
Oh man.
Oof.
Fart stated, You can do it more. You can do it by moving a camera and passing something and cutting. I don't know. We totally fucked it out. I don't know what he's talking
Are we gonna even be able to move on? Are we gonna have to just
Maybe.
move segments at this point?
The film score was composed by Clint Mansell, upon which he produced a remix of the Nine Inch Nails song "You Know What You Are," which was used in the film's ending credits. Okay.
So he remixed it. It was still his work, though.
Yeah, John Carmack, who is the co-founder of Software and co-creator of Doom, spoke favorably of the film, stating, "I liked it. Nobody expects a video game movie to be Oscar material, but I thought it was a solid action movie with lots of fun nods to the gaming community." Fair enough. In 2009, Johnson described the film as an example of trying and failing to do a good video game adaptation, and that it was a cautionary tale of what not to do. There you go.
Wow. God damn.
You picked so much
Like nothing
trivia
I'd
for
ever
this
smelled
That's
movie.
in my life.
13 or 15. I don't know. Don't read it.
When Samantha Graham unlocks the door using the electronic keypad, the key tones played are the 5 iconic notes from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, look at that.
Oh no. Rosamund Pike turned down the role of Rita Skeeter in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire to work on
bad
this
decision.
movie.
Ugh, that's such a better role for her. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Not even
Yeah,
just more
yeah.
successful, but like
Yeah.
that's right in her wheelhouse.
And also 3 movies had already come out before that. You know how big Harry Potter was to do Doom.
How Harry Big Potter.
I gotta think there was more to the decision than a creative decision. Like maybe it was just not gonna work for whatever reason, logistically.
I might need to take a break. I'll host from now on.
From
right.
now.
You know, John Fart also did the effects for Nutty Professor,
Ooh.
if you can believe such a thing.
I think that's enough trivia.
Okay.
And The Mask. Damn. Good for him.
Mr. Farts knows what he's doing.
Mr.
Fox.
Farts knows how to make it nutty in The Nutty Professor.
John Fox.
Let's go ahead and get into our cooter of the week.
Straight chillin'. Gooder of the week.
Bob, you need to mark that time down for the clip reel right there.
PM Fox. Whew, I think I needed a good laugh. Juice, what's a cooter? Why do we hunt them?
Cooter is a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. A cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter, and we want the cooter with the most points. The 5 points are sexual deviancy, smug arrogance, manipulation, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, we might have a couple choices this week. Who do you think is cooter of the week?
Oh boy. I mean, Break really just screams cooter at first blush.
Yeah.
So why don't we start there?
Okay.
Portman, the character of Portman, sexual deviance. He's always like talking about strip searching these women, and he's talking about banging a bunch of people in a hotel room, and he's just like he's creeping on everybody.
He's skeevy.
Yeah, I think he's got that.
Yeah,
I think the thing to lock him down would be the strip search comment. You know, if you want to go pay for sexual services that are offered, I mean,
that's fine,
I guess. But I mean, there's no need for you to try to strip search people on your job. So,
unless what is your job?
How did he? I don't even understand how he expected that to work. I think it was like maybe it was just supposed to be funny, but obviously it wasn't. And it was like stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think we could give it to him.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Is he smug?
Yeah.
Yeah. The way he like takes delight in like fucked up, like he gets like so excited that kid wants to take drugs because he's scared.
Dude, yeah. He's like pushing him to be scared too. Like that's a manipulation.
That's manipulation.
Yeah.
So I would
but it's
say
also I think kind of arrogant. Like, it's a manipulation for sure.
Yeah. Also, too, like he's fucking with them all the time too, where he's like, "Oh, I asked Sarge for some pussy, and he brought me you." I mean, I guess he it seems like he's constantly dancing between some kind of smug arrogance, manipulation, and sexual deviancy. I think that's why he's such a strong cooter candidate. Like every like comment that comes out of his mouth is like almost all three of those combined, because it's usually very sexual, but he's using it to fuck with people, which is manipulative, and also kind of just shows off his like arrogant attitude towards people. So I think that's why he's so strong.
Patheticness and attire are the only two I think just really don't hit.
Maybe patheticness. Does he actually die taking a shit? No, he doesn't. He's like
not really
toilet, but
he never actually takes a shit. He just talks about it.
He's just lying about it. I need to take a dump. All right, so you guys want to talk about The Rock as well, Sarge?
Sure. So there's obviously some manipulation going on with that, at least towards the end, where he is for sure like a creature, knows it, and his whole goal of containment, that the mission doesn't matter anymore at that point, which lets you know that he's fully corrupted and manipulating the situation, as if that's not the case at first.
Could we give him looking tired because he turns into a demon?
That
demon
looks like
face.
shit.
Yeah, that demon face.
Yeah, he turns into fucking Scorpion King in this fucking
dumb
terrible
demon.
He is smug arrogance. Yes.
Oh, arrogant as fuck.
So I would say he hits manipulation, smug arrogance, maybe looking tired for his bad makeup.
There's no sexual deviancy.
No, he's not on that scale. Yeah.
He's pretty balls to the wall badass throughout the entire movie.
So I think Richard Brake still kind of edges out.
Purely and simply evil.
Yeah. I think it's Brake. I don't know who else to like that we would even put up at this point. I think that those are the obvious ones.
That'd be about it. I think. I think we're rolling with Brake. He's the stronger choice. I feel like he's still not like a super strong choice, but he's definitely the best choice in this movie.
Yeah, he's weaker than he seems because he just really gives off a vibe, and the vibe is hard to pin down once you actually get to the nuts and bolts of it. So, but still.
Yeah, I think it's definitely Portman, old Natalie Portman's brother, Dick Portman in this movie. We got him. Let's go ahead and let our hair down. We're talking about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Randy, what you been watching?
Not a whole lot. Just been a lot going on. I've started this week. My New Year's resolution is to read at least one night a week, as opposed to watching something after hours, after work. So I've been reading my best friend's Exorcism, which I'm about halfway done with.
Sweet. How do you
so
like
far,
it?
it's all right. It's all right. Yeah. I mean, I'm having a hard time sort of like telling where it's going with stuff. And like, I'm not sure what tone is supposed to be striking. I think it's supposed to be like pretty tongue-in-cheek in some ways, or at least very evocative. It's clearly supposed to be evocative of like 80s slasher movie type things or horror movies, and like Satanic Panic stuff is in the mix and all this stuff. So, I mean, but I don't know if it's really hitting. It hasn't caught me yet, I don't think. So, like I said, I'm about halfway done. It's really only just starting to get to the meat of things. But it's not bad. It's like it's the setup. It's the setups that are going on are pretty all right so far. I don't know. I'm being hesitant with it, I guess, but I'm gonna finish it. It's part of the resolution. Other than that, I watched Not Another Teen Movie for the first time in many years.
Wow.
Which is still a very fucking funny movie. I will stand by that. It's pretty dated in a lot of it, but out of all of the what I refer to as the movies, the epic movies of the world, the scary movies of the world, I would say this one's the funniest. To me, even more so than Scary Movie, which is most people's go-to.
Dude, what about Scary Movie Deuce?
No. No.
Take my strong hand.
I mean, I love Tim Curry and everything, and there's some stuff in the first two Scary Movies that I find funny, and plenty that I find that it's not. I would say that. I would say like maybe two-thirds of Not Another Teen Movie are still pretty funny to me. Chris Evans is fucking at his best being a comedic character. I'll stand by that to death. Like, he's great as Captain America, I think, but I think he's really great in this kind of like comedic role. So I think it's pretty funny. I don't think that a lot of those jokes would pass muster these days, but all that said, I think it's worth a retread. And then last but not least, I just before recording this watched a documentary called Dear Zachary, which is a true crimey documentary from 2008, and I've heard was quite sad. And I had to really rally to be prepared for this podcast because this is extremely fucking sad.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, it's like I don't do a lot of weeping, but I cried during this thing.
Wow.
It's and which is crazy because when you start watching it, I had heard that it had the reputation for making people like really like sad, and when I started watching it, it seems like almost like I don't know. I don't want to. It's a little mean to say it's like a little amateurish feeling, but it feels very not modern in terms of documentaries. Almost to the point where it feels like a pastiche of one, almost like a, I don't know, like a found footagey type of approach to a horror movie, which it's not. It's a true story and it's real interviews with people, and the real like interviews are what sell everything and what not sell everything, but it's what really makes the emotional impact. And just the story itself is just truly terrible. And as much as the filmmaking is not what I would consider to be like top tier on its own, the story it's telling is incredible. And I do recommend it, but you got to be fucking ready. Don't go in on a day you're not ready to shed a few. So that's it for me.
Dear Zachary, never heard of that.
Sweet deal. Randy, did you know My Best Friend's Exorcism is being turned into a movie, which I think is supposed to come out this year?
No, I didn't know that. Well,
yes, you'll be.
I think it
up on
would probably translate like better to a movie than maybe the book, but I'll
Really?
withhold judgment on that. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I mean, it's just built basically
Yeah.
to be. It might as well have been like, from what I can tell, the intention was to more or less be the book equivalent of a 80s slasher movie.
Gotcha.
From a feminine perspective. So in
Maybe
that respect-
we'll cover the movie.
maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Juice. What you been watching?
The biggest thing I've been watching was a movie that came out on Shudder last year. It's called The Medium, and I watched it because I thought it was directed by the same director who did The Wailing, but that is not true. He produced it and I think had a bit of a hand in the writing of it. But it was directed by a Thai director who I've never seen any of the things that he's done, which makes sense. I was like, I was watching the credits. There were a lot of Koreans involved. It kept alternating between like Korean staff and Thai staff. And that was interesting. Also, Thai writing is very wild. I'm very curious about it. I don't know. It looks very interesting, but I watched it. It was okay. I'm kind of glad to find out that this guy didn't direct it, because I was like, The Wailing is a much like better crafted film than what this is, but it's a found footage film, so it's limited in its medium anyways. What I would say is it feels like a blending of oh my God, my brain just went out. What is Paranormal Activity? It's a blend of Paranormal Activity and that sequence from VHS 2 about the Thai cult or whatever. It kind of, the one we all like, the Indonesian cult. I think they're Indonesian, but it's kind of like those two movies mashed together. It is found footage. What I think is interesting and cool about it is it's an exorcist story. It's about an exorcism, but it's from a perspective that is not Christianity, which you just, anytime you're talking about exorcisms, it's, the priest comes over and
Catholic Church.
Yeah, Catholic Church and the Lord commands you or whatever, and demons speaking in Latin and shit like that. It's not that. So that's interesting. And in the same kind of way that we saw in The Wailing, you get to see a different culture's perspective on shamanism and exorcisms and demon possession in general, where it comes from, what its motivations are, and like what happens. So in that aspect, it's pretty cool, and it's pretty solid for a found footage movie. I know a lot of people really love found footage. It's kind of like Randy loves found footage. And so for people who are really looking for another, solid found footage film, I think this one is up there. I think I was going in with too high expectations because I thought this director was involved, and he's not. So I probably should have researched that closely. But I would still recommend people check it out, especially if you love found footage movies. But that's mainly, I'm still kind of working through Simpsons season 9. Other than that, nothing really. Bob,
Yo,
you had any time to watch anything lately?
not a whole lot. We put on Birds of Prey the other night. I'd never seen it before. And as far as like DC movies goes, it's pretty enjoyable. It's pretty fun. It's
I've heard
like
that.
it's just a fun, goofy action movie. It's got a lot of comedy in it. Margot Robbie does a great job as Harley Quinn. It's probably the best DC movie I've seen, which I mean, I know it's a very low bar, but like it's
Better than that new James Gunn deal?
it's pretty good. It is very Suicide Squad-y. Yeah, it's got that vibe. I mean, I probably did enjoy Suicide Squad more, but it's very similar. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. I've been thrown on like random episodes of Seinfeld. It's a show that I grew up watching, and it's now on Netflix. So like I'll just watch one or two here or there. It's funny. It's always been funny. I get a kick out of it. Somebody on our Straight Chilling Facebook channel threw out a recommendation for this movie called Butt Boy over the weekend, and I only watched like half of it. I didn't get to finish it today. It's like a really weird premise. This is not really a horror movie, but it's produced by Dread, and it's on Amazon Prime if you are curious about checking it out. It's about this guy who just really likes to put stuff in his butt, and he enjoys it sexually.
We've all been there, hey boys?
We've all
well established opinions on this. So
Randy's an ass man. This guy puts stuff in his butt, and he is also he joins AA for it. He's addicted to putting stuff in his butt, and while he's in AA, he becomes somebody's sponsor. And he's sponsoring this guy who is actually in Alcoholics Anonymous because he's addicted to alcohol, and he is a detective. And the detective eventually gets called out to investigate a missing child, and reports to this big office building, and finds out that his sponsor, the guy who puts stuff in his butt, works there. And what has happened is this dude has put a child in his butt, and the child's gone missing.
That took a little bit of a turn.
Yeah.
He puts a child
I'd ever smelled before in my life
inside his butt.
Okay, so it's a comedy.
It's a comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. It is called Butt Boy. I don't know how it ends because I haven't finished it yet. It's weird. It's a weird movie.
Okay.
So,
I have a daddy kink.
Bob is the butt guy over here. I know we always joke about Randy, but Bob and butt stuff cracks his ass up.
it is.
So it's right up your alley.
Butt stuff is hilarious.
That's where the poop comes from.
And the farts.
And the
BM
farts.
farts. Man, I have not seen whatever Tim and Eric skit that is from, but I have to.
Oh, right. Oh my God, you have to.
I have to. I'm gonna look it up a little bit. Heidelberg loves getting his salad tossed. Facts.
Quick, is that the end of the segment?
Yeah, that's all I've been watching. Yeah, what's up?
Quick note: R.I.P. Bob Saget.
Oh, really?
As of an hour ago, reported.
Damn.
Fuck.
Was
65.
it an overdose?
We don't know, but
Okay.
it was in
65.
Orlando. 65.
Oh,
I
fuck.
think he had some sort of ongoing disease of some kind, but I don't
Oh,
know.
really?
Shit.
Okay,
I'm not a big Saget's not high on my priority
Yeah.
list to
Full
media
house.
necessarily, but RIP nonetheless.
Yeah, for sure.
Pour one out for Bob.
Anyway.
Yeah, hopefully it was natural
Not
causes
our Bob.
and not. Yeah, you're not getting rid of me that fucking
Don't
easily.
pour one out for our Bob.
You're fucking stuck with me.
okay.
Oh my God.
You don't know what death is.
Mic drop. Yeah, that's it for what we've been watching. We got one more segment this week, which is, of course, our Hotline Screams.
Hotline Scream.
If you are listening and would like to call in and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got one voicemail this week. It is from our mystery caller once again. Let's hear what she has to say.
Hey, girl bosses. So I just listened to y'all's Deliverance episode, and I actually didn't know there was a rape scene at all. I don't know how I missed it, but I had just heard it was like a fucked up movie. And it finally showed up for a streaming site, and I was like, yeah, let's go. However, I did actually end up spoiling it for myself because I was trying to look up one of the actors, and then I read known for its graphic rape scene, and I was like, oh? So, didn't see that coming. And I'm also going to answer the questions that you guys had posed for that week. So, the candy question for Halloween candy, fuck Twizzlers, fuck Tootsie Rolls, and fuck that one house that handed out toothbrushes when I was 6. And then as the next week's question, y'all asked about Halloween costumes. My favorite was when I wanted to be a cheerleader from the Black Parade music video when I was like 13. Classic. And I managed to find a zombie cheerleader costume, but my mom refused to put the gray face paint on me because she hates me. Joke's on you, Mom. It wasn't a phase. And I also have a question for you guys. What's your favorite like horror book? I'm just curious because I got into reading and my biggest genre I read was horror, so I was just curious. Have a good one. Bye.
I gotta say, I love being referred to as a girl boss.
Me
that
too.
Makes my day.
First time for that. I kind of like it.
There's power in that title, you know. Power I'm not even entitled to.
It's been thrust upon us. I guess we gotta wield it. Yeah, thanks for calling in. Thanks for answering a bunch of questions from like probably a couple years ago. But yeah, fuck Twizzlers. Twizzlers blow ass.
Oh yeah, they're not good.
Twizzlers are all right.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
They're fine.
I dig the
I
cheerleader.
can taste it like right now.
Yeah.
Twizzlers.
Chill out. Dope costume, dressing up as one of the cheerleaders from the Black Parade music video. Fucking cool. I'm about that. Not a huge My Chemical Romance fan, but I dig that. That's pretty.
I'm so glad to hear you're going into like year 20 or whatever of your phase. Congrats.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to that phase.
Yeah, keep rolling. Roll right into that shit. Horror books. What have we been reading? Rainey, you literally just talked about a horror book you've been reading. Is there anything else?
That's one actually leads into one of the things. I haven't read a whole lot of horror. Like I'm not a big reader, which is the reason that I'm doing this New Year's resolution is to try and remedy that a little bit. I read a lot as a kid. I just don't do it a lot anymore, and I haven't for some time, despite still acquiring new books on the regular. So the only thing I can think of off the top of my head, horror book wise, that wasn't a children's book explicitly, is It, which I enjoyed fine, and I don't think I need to do any legwork describing at this point.
True.
So, you know, I haven't even done any Stephen King outside of that. If you want to go into childhood stuff, I could talk about John Belair's. I used to love his stuff. It was illustrated by Edward Gorey and was like a hot commodity for me in the library. And then I could talk about Goosebumps, obviously, but not a whole lot beyond those things, you know? So I just don't have a good frame of reference. I'm not even sure I'm adept at parsing horror stories in that form. So I guess we'll find out.
Keep reading.
Yeah, that's the only way to find out, really.
Juice, you got any recommendations?
Yeah, I used to read a lot more. Like before I moved to Korea, I used to read a lot, and I had this phase where I wanted to read. I think it was in the first year or two of our podcast where I wanted to read a lot of the horror classics. So I have read like Frankenstein, Dracula, the Island of Dr. Moreau, or whatever that one is.
Yeah, that's right.
The Picture of Dorian Gray, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Edgar Allan Poe stuff. So just those kind of old Victorian style classics. I read a lot of those. I've never even read like a Stephen King book. I enjoyed reading Goosebumps a lot when I was younger too. But other than those classics, I don't have like a huge frame of reference either, honestly. I past several years, I just have not been reading hardly anything at all, let alone horror books. So I don't know. I mean, I like those classics. They're interesting to see kind of where some of the lore comes from and how some of the cultural stuff plays into it. So that's interesting, but I don't know. Those just the classics, I guess. Bob, how about you?
I don't like to read fiction, really. It like bores me, which is kind of weird to say. I prefer to read nonfiction. But I've read a bunch of Edgar Allan Poe in high school and Frankenstein and a few of the classics. But outside of that, there's this graphic novel that I was reading. I hadn't actually kept up with it, so I don't know if it is still as good as it used to be. But it's called Nailbiter. It's a really interesting story about like this town that just inexplicably like a ton of serial killers have come out of over the years. And the town itself sort of like cashes in on that. And there's like, stores that open up and they sell like weird serial killer memorabilia and like t-shirts and stuff. Like the town's famous. It's known for all these killers, and people will like, go take tours and like look around and stuff. And we get into like some of the killers that are still alive and like what they do and why they do it. And then the further you read along the story, you get into the mythology of the town and start to figure out like why all these people are coming from this one place. I really, really enjoyed the story. I only read like the first 2 or 3 trades, but I would definitely recommend checking that out if you are into graphic novels at all. It was really, really cool. Yeah.
I didn't even think about graphic novels, but it's worth mentioning that, and I think you've read some too, Bob, that the old Bish gave us both some Junji Ito not long ago, a few years back now, which I found to be great, and I don't think that's a hidden secret anymore. I think the word on Ito's out in the world at this point in America. So, I mean, I'm not, I don't think that I'm doing, I don't think that I'm blowing anyone's mind with that revelation, but I do want to call it out because it is one of the few things that I've read that was really good on the horror level. And a lot of it had to do with the illustration more than anything else. So maybe it's not what you're looking for, but it's great. So
yeah. Also Lock and Key. I really enjoyed reading Lock and Key. This show didn't do much for me, but
yeah, that came out with like a second season. I remember doing a review on the first, like a mini cast, and I just haven't even touched that second season. I liked it like well enough, but I just haven't been interested enough to go back.
Yeah, so hopefully there's a few recommendations for you, some cool stuff to check out. Obviously, we need to read more. Again, if you're listening, want to call and leave a voicemail for next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Do you guys have any prompts for next week you want to throw out there?
Yeah, tell us about your book recommendations, please.
Yeah, join our book club on Slack.
Yeah, we got a little book club going. Yeah, we clearly don't know. We don't really. Yeah.
Hardly.
We really don't have a ton to. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I just kind of want some recommendations. I have a list of books that I know I want to try and read, but I'm always adding to it. House of Leaves is on there for me. I've heard a lot of good things about that. And I don't know. I just want to see what other people have on the agenda. Something, that's truly unsettling and not necessarily a pastiche is more what I'm looking for if I'm going for horror and books. So I don't know if anybody's got recommendations, please do call us up.
Gotcha.
All right. Yeah.
Books it is. Books.
Recommend books for Randy to read. That's going to do it this week for the Straight Chilling Crew. We're going to be back next week with a brand new show. Like always, we're going to be talking about Scream.
5 Cream.
Scream 5. Whatever.
5 Cream.
You know what they call another? We were talking about movies that just name themselves the same thing. The Thing from 2011, which is called The Thing.
That's true. Yeah.
Sons of bitches. Like, call it something different. It's confusing.
Remake. I mean, it's a remake.
The pre-thing.
No, it was a prequel. It wasn't a remake.
It was kind of a remake, though, is what I've heard. Like I don't know. There's so
Kind
many.
of, but not. You know, but
Well, I mean,
that's-
think about like A Star Is Born has been made like 30 times, and each time it's with different storyline, except somebody becomes a star. That's the
True.
only thing that's consistent.
The difference is
Like-
though, like Scream is literally a sequel to the movie
Yes.
Scream. So
Right.
it's like fucking confusing.
That's
Scream
where it gets confusing, is when
Scream
it's like definitely part of the
2020
lineage.
Yeah, it's all canon. It's just the movie with the same fucking name.
Maybe it's a remake of the original,
Mhm.
but it just has the same cast. That's older.
Mind blown. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to
Sure.
see what they're gonna do with this. I've stayed away from like full blown reviews of the movie, but there was I guess a screening of it, and some people were putting out like their first like very general response to the movie, and it's like overwhelmingly positive from what I've seen.
Cool.
So I don't know. Hopefully, it's a great
If
way
you
to
go
start
see
the year.
every theater that screens the new Scream movie, David Arquette himself comes in and murders one of the attendees. That's how that has to work.
Damn.
I have
He
to assume
saves
the
you.
meta has finally reached reality at this point.
I don't know. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Slam your eyeballs into Scream. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes or on Spotify. You can follow us on Twitter at str8_chilling, on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send us an email through our website, straightchillingpodcast.com. If you want to join in on the daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up on one of our social media outlets and I'll send you a link so you can do so. We got a book club on there. We trade recipes. We do all kinds of cool shit and also talk horror, of course. If you want to learn how to make a tiki drink, check out our YouTube channel. That's dropping in a few days. I think that's it. Until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
I am going to drop a deuce on everybody.
I can't believe